Python. On top of it, there are lots of packages which are necessary. I can show you this also, how you can use. Otherwise, if you do not want this, you can go to you download Python and install Python. Then there will be some basic Python will come. What should I see? So basic files. No, I don't see it here. Okay. Anyway, I don't see it here. Anyway, okay. So go here. Suppose I'm going to go here and let's share this. I'm going to go here and share this. Share. Now you can see, okay? Anyone can tell, please? You can see this?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yes, okay. So this is what we did last time. We opened this page and we began to type on these shells. Okay, so I'm just quickly go through it so that you can remember what I did. It will take little time, then I will proceed. Okay, this cell is for information. Okay, and suppose this, what I did, right? Import matplotlib.pyplot.plt. Then I created one list x 1 2 3 4 such, and y equal to something some other list. Then I wrote plt.plot x comma y. That means plot is a function. Inside the argument, I have two arguments x and y, and it will plot. You may not have to write plt.show here because in this Anaconda Navigator, Anaconda Jupyter notebook, you don't have to write this thing also. On your interpreter, you have to write, but here it is not necessary. But anyway, if I run this, the plot will come. See, plot will come, right? So this will come. Okay. Okay. Now here. Now in this plot, you can also write with, instead of list, you can also write tuple. That is also, it will work. It will work. And it has created these things in the memory, and also why it is asking for show. Sometimes it asks. Anyway. Okay. Sometimes it asks, so it will show. Why it will show? It will show. Yeah. Where? Yeah. Where? Let me comment this. I wrote this thing matplotlib %matplotlib notebook. That is especially some command of notebook with which I can actually manipulate the graph here. Otherwise, the graph will be static. So I run this. This graph will come, and then if I run this again, the graph will come. It is not coming. I don't know why. It will come. Oh, it is slow today. Okay. It is slow today. Oh, it is this color. Okay, anyway, I worked it. Okay, maybe I just restart and clear all outputs first. Okay, so this is actually what I did last time. This I plotted, run this plot, then run this plot. Then I decorated the the graph with the plot with some color. You see, these are the keyword arguments: color, line style, marker. MS is marker size. Everything is there. If you type help, and inside that you write plt.plot, it will show you everything. Then LW is line width. Label is something label. It will write. Then you can have figure size. plt.figure. So remember everything. PLT is the pyplot module in short name, under which figure is a function. Whatever comes with two first brackets, means parenthesis, is a function. So inside that, you as an argument, keyword argument, you write fig size equal to 12,8. That means the figure size will be 12 by 8. Okay, and then you write x label, plt.x label also is a function. plt.y label also is a function. plt.title is a function. plt.supertitle, subtitle, means title above the title. So plt.legend, that is also plt.xticks, yticks, then plt.tick parameters control, everything is there. So all these functions, these are all functions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 functions. There are many more functions, 9, 10 functions. Okay. So all these 10 functions I have used from PLT, this module. I have gone there and I can check, I can write dir inside that, I can write PLT. It will show you everything, the library of what are the functions and classes and everything are there. You can check every item, and in your first time you can just experiment with them. Well, so if I wanted to decorate this graph with all those things. Okay, now if I run this, so this graph will be like this. Okay, this is the super title. This is my graph. This is the title. Then I plot it with dot line, dash line, and see I have written there here dash dot. So the plotted with dash dot, and also with marker O, solid marker O. So and the red and these y-axis, x-axis, ticks, control, everything we did. Okay, and now if you write, for example, what is there in legend? So legend is here. I wanted to show you what is the plt.legend. If you run this, it will show you what is there inside. So I wanted to show you where the positions, where these are the location string. That means the legend here, it is here, right side corner. If you can put the legend here, you can put the middle or anywhere. So you can choose from the reading the manual. You can go there and you can actually choose how to design your graph. Okay, so that is. Then we did these from basic Python. How we can create certain numbers. Sometimes you want to create certain numbers, maybe the fake numbers, but you want to create some numbers through this range function. Okay, so if you run this, we can show you that you can see that the numbers are created 5 to 40, and in the step of size of 5. Then I showed you, one thing I can tell you, people who are in computer science or physics or mathematics, they always, most of the time they do computation, but all computer programs and things like that. It is not necessary for your subject also sometimes. So I can tell you this Python is easy for you because you can easily handle. You may not have to know very in depth or in very detail, but certain things you can learn by the way. When maybe your main target is to plot your graph or something or data, and can visualize your data, and just that's it. Maybe you don't have to do hardcore programming, but if you just get to know some little about Python, how the numbers are managed, how the numbers are created, how you can manipulate. Later, tomorrow I will come with actual structured data manipulation. Okay, so for that, some packages are very important. One package is NumPy, NUMPY. NumPy is numerical Python. So this package is very important. I can tell you there are certain packages. Once you work in Python, my suggestion would be to learn about little bit about some packages. First, basic Python and some inbuilt packages there. There are mathematics libraries, math, import math. So that is inbuilt library. There is CMath, complex math, that is there. There are many more. There is a library called random. So it creates random numbers for you. So there are lots of libraries in basic Python itself. Then there are third-party packages like the matplotlib that we are doing, and also this NumPy. Then there will be SciPy, SCIPY. I'll show you that. That is scientific Python. So whoever in us, they will be using certain mathematical functions or plot some kind of some built-in functions or something. So we need to use that. And then tomorrow I'll show you pandas. there is another package. Then from there, if you go to data science, machine learning towards that, so that is everywhere now. So then you have to get to know many other packages like SCI, scikit-learn, then the Keras, TensorFlow, lots of things are there. But that's not. I mean, you don't have to know everything. But whenever you are doing some work, my suggestion would be that you want to do something, you want to do some modeling, you want to do extract some information, you want to see your data in a certain way. So what দেখা যাচ্ছে তো? So what you can do is that you can actually then Google search and just find out yourself what are the packages that can help you. So go to Anaconda and you just check which package is necessary just by the same mantra. This import, first you install, then you import. And once you are in Anaconda, that is easy because you go to the Anaconda navigator and you just by one click, you just install, apply this package. The package will come from net. Okay. So this NumPy is necessary for array management. So suppose this import NumPy as NP, and inside that you have a range, there is a function. Inside that I write first 0.5, say this is the beginning, and the number 10, this is the number will start from 0.5, end at 10, but you don't touch 10, and the interval will be 0.5. And if you write this and then print this, if you now assign these numbers, set of numbers in X. So X is now my variable and it is now NumPy array. So if you now see that, see the array is created. And if you now check what is this kind of special object, what is created X. So if you type X, it will show you this thing. You have functions inside the NumPy array, NumPy package. You have the function exponential, say for example, we told you the other day. And one thing you remember, the functions here, the mathematical functions in NumPy is very important, very interesting in a sense. The function, normally, you know, the functions inside the arguments, you write one value, right? So suppose sine theta. So theta is 30 degree or some radian, you get the value. Similarly, you expect that the function will have one single value. X is a single some point where out of which the function's value of function will come. But so X is now the array you have created, and Y is the another array that is created from that X array, okay, through this exponential function. So basically it's an exponential plot. If you want to check any function plot, this is the method. Okay, now quickly I go, because I told you that in basic Python you may have learned that you can actually define your own function. The method is very simple. This is a method, right? Use this def command and then write some name. I wrote f in bracket, you write 1 argument, 2 argument, whatever number of arguments, then give colon, and then next line you write indented, some steps indented, okay, so that it is inside this function. It means this is, Python will understand. So this is the part of this sentence. So if you write that, so the function f is created. You have to write return and then whatever mathematical function you want to write. I wanted to write fx equal to x square. So this is x star star 2. Wait, well, so if I now run this, so function is created. Now if I run f2, it will be 4. If I now f7, it will be 49, fx, and so on. Fx, that means x is these numbers. Now since x is NumPy array, I didn't have to write vectorize this function. It is automatically vectorized. It worked. But if not, I have to sometimes vectorize it. So the function is vectorize, VECTORIZE. So if you see, you have defined a particular function for your plot. Sometimes for fitting another purpose, you need that. So if you do that, so if you cannot vectorize, if this doesn't work, then you have to vectorize this. You write np.vectorize, inside that you write f, and you rename as f only. Then of course this works. This works. It is not saying showing error means it is working. Okay, so then lambda function, etc. I told you, and then the linspace, with linspace is another function in NumPy with which you can create array. Like it will create 0 to 1, and 10 is 10 values. Now it will create 10 values. So if you write now, it will create 0 to number 1. Okay, so you have to play with these functions, say linspace, arrange, all these functions from NumPy. You can just type it and can show. I'll give it, send you this sheet, right? Okay, IPNYB sheet. I'll send you Otonu, and he can distribute to you. Anyway, and you can just check. Okay, and now there are I can write another. I can plot the system functions. Say I write np.linspace. So I create the values -2 into np.pi, means 2 into pi, 2 -2 pi, 2 +2 pi, 2 into, inside np there is the parameter pi, exact. I mean, this very nice value, not exact. It's the irrational number, and 100 points are created, say. And then you write y equal to np dot sign of x, because this x will be a NumPy array now. So now this sign function will be applied on this x. That means on each point, the sign function will apply. And then you plot as usual. If you write quote unquote r, you don't have to even write color equal to r. It will understand. Quote unquote r means it will understand you want to plot with red. And then marker is something like this, say. And also I added here some AXH line. X means axis, H means horizontal line. That is a function. You could write something here, but that's not necessary. For the preliminary, if you run this, it will plot this. So this is as simple as that. If you know certain basic things, then you can go on discovering yourself, right? So so this is how you can plot. Okay, so you can see also what is, I told you that what is there inside this plot function. What are the parameters you can, what are the arguments you can use, what are the keyword arguments, what are the default arguments, what are the kind of examples. So PL is I think it will be PLT. So help PLT.plot. So if you run this, it will show you all the big manual. It's a huge manual. You can see it, all the characters, colors, symbols, what are the things that you can deal with. Okay. Now, I told you some special kind of functions. People amongst us who are in electronics or something like that, who deals with the various kinds of signals. For example, square wave, sawtooth wave, all kinds of things. So there is a package called SciPy, I told you. So SciPy is very useful. It's a very nice scientific package. Many people will use Fourier transform. The Fourier transform is just matter of one click, nothing like that. Otherwise, in our young age, we had to write a huge program to do Fourier transforms. People amongst us who have worked in Fortran or C or C++, we had to write painful programs. But in Python, your life is so easy. But okay. So I can also write, instead of, instead of writing import SciPy, we can write from SciPy dot signal. That means SciPy is your package, and inside that signal is your module. I told you what is a module. Module is basically nothing but it's a big it's a Python program. It's a Python script. So inside that, there are step by step, you can see there are lots of functions, classes are defined, parameters are defined. You can take one by one. So this is the fun of doing Python program. So you write one Python program and you don't use that Python program fully. Use step the only that part which is useful for you. So from scipy.signal, and scipy is a package. Package is nothing but a collection of all modules and functions and all these things. It's a kind of basically a directory, special directory. So you see the from and import, both are green symbols here in this Jupyter notebook. In other platforms, it might show you orange color or something like that. So from scipy.signal, you import sawtooth. Now, of course, you will see that sawtooth is a function. It's a sawtooth function. You know sawtooth. You have seen, dealt with sawtooth, right? It goes up slowly and then comes down sharply. It's like a tooth of the saw. Okay. So now you create the numbers with np.linspace. You create the numbers between -10 to +10. And 1,000 numbers you create, right? And then you write plt.plot. Inside that you write x, and then you write sawtooth. And obviously you don't have to think of otherwise, because sawtooth function, since you have taken it from SciPy, either SciPy or NumPy, the functions are automatically vectorized. So it will apply for all these points in this array that will be created. So inside that you write x. And then you write plt.ax line. It is your preference, and you run that. Let me see if you run that. Oh, it's not. Probably it is slow. It should come. It should come. It is not taking. Yeah, it is taking. It's slow sometimes. Okay. So the plot is coming. Since you have not told anything else, it is plotting with blue, and this is horizontal line by this ax line. It has created. Okay. And then you go there, you go there in the sawtooth. You can write, see, suppose you create one shell here, plus, right? You write, say, help. Inside that you write, where is sawtooth? Sawtooth is from, okay, sawtooth you have actually brought this function here itself. So you write inside that you wrote, right? This means the technical language, since from the scipy.signal, you actually imported this sawtooth. That means casually I told you that you have brought this function here. That here means it's actually called in the Python language, it's called namespace. That means here in this table you are working, and this sawtooth function is at your hand now. This is not inside the Almira. It's at your hand. So now sawtooth function is here. You can wanted to see what is there inside. So you can write help sawtooth. So now you run, done. Whenever you are in, I think my suggestion is, whenever you are in doubt, you always you don't have to ask anyone. You always go and check. Suppose this sawtooth function, see, sawtooth function, you check the first line. This is the function, and t is the argument. See, t means here this thing by default argument. I have given here x, and the width is equal to 1. By default, maybe width is 1. Width means the period of this, right? Here to here. This is one full period. So if I can adjust, I can manipulate that. You can read this entire these things. I can manipulate this. I can manipulate the period length. I can manipulate the shape of this curve. You see, if I write x comma, say width equal to say 0.5, you see the curve how it changes. So the width is this is called keyword argument. See, some things I will repeat again and again and again, so that you may not forget those things. Please tell me if you are bored, or please one by one, please friends, you can ask questions in between, no problem. Okay. Otherwise, I cannot understand whether I'm telling going in the right direction or not. Okay. So this is the argument x, and I write width equal to 0.5 keyword argument. So now I run this. See, the get up is changed. So it is, if I write say 0.8, say 0.9, say, or 0.2, say, so get up will change. So that way I can manipulate the sawtooth. Suppose you need to manipulate these functions. So function is at your hand. You can manipulate with this width. Width is a keyword, etc., etc. Okay. Sometimes you may not have to write the width. If you just write this, it will do, because it will understand this. After this argument, this only other keyword argument is something what you give. So you have this. Okay. So you can now, this way you can check everything. Okay. And later I told you, so far I have showed you the either you create some data and plot, or you I mean you fake data, or you through NumPy or SciPy, I mean so arrays or something, or by list or something. Now you can have a serious data. Suppose you have somewhere data stored in your machine in some directory, and the data is basically text file. So no matter, I have created a data, and the data file I have named as test.dat. It doesn't mean that you have to give this extension. You may not have to give this extension, but it is for my purpose, so that I can later understand that this is a data file. This is my habit, that I write always the extension as dat or data or d something. Okay, anyway, so this is somewhere here in the desktop. So I give the full path name, the machine full path name, and then the directory, then the file name, this file name. So if I now run this, it is taken. It has not objected anything, means it has taken. And if I want to print data, say, see the data is, it has, I wrote this 2-column data, right? So it has taken, and now see automatically what is the function I have used? I have used load LOAD-TXT. So you remember in the if you want to, I mean, if you want to bring some data into your place, into your namespace, with which you can want to plot the data you want to plot, and you will obviously plot with matplotlib. But before that, there are little manipulations. That data is in the file. You can also open file, but the best way is that you import the data, give the full file name or with path name, and use this function LOAD-TXT. If you forget, you can go to NumPy NP and check, write dir. Inside that you write NP. If you write say here, if you write dir, inside that you write NP, it will show you all the functions, necessary functions. Maybe the less than 10% functions we have already used. We have only used. So there are lots of functions. So I mean, you can spend your whole life actually. So there are lots of functions, strings, the classes, and the functions are alphabetic order written. These functions are alphabetic. So if you wanted to see some function, there are lots of mathematical functions, useful other manipulative functions, I, J, K, L. Suppose you faintly remember that, okay, some function which can load the file. So you forget the name of the function. So you go to L, look at where is the load function, LOAD. See load text is there. See load text is there. Load text. Okay. You can also check what is under loads. What is under load? Lots of similar. So the names are given in this Python people, that you can easily identify things from the names. So, and Google is always there. You can search in Google and you can always look at this, what is there. Okay, anyway. So now, so data, you see the data is a NumPy array. How do you understand? This is the square brackets, and it's a 2-dimensional array. 2 square brackets here and 2 square brackets here. That means 2-dimensional array. And here is one row, the next row. But you can understand this is the X column and this is the Y column. You want to plot that. You see the type of data. Data is NumPy array. NumPy ND array, n-dimensional array. and you see the shape of the data. These things you must have learned in while you have learned NumPy. If not, then I will suggest you that you go a little bit about NumPy. I will write everything for you later, and I'll make videos also. Then you can read any manual, anything. You can see what are there. How do you manipulate an array? How do you know about an array, etc., etc. If you write data dot shape, this data is NumPy array, and this shape is now an attribute to the data. If you now run this, it will show you, see, 6 by 2. That means the data is 6 by 2. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows and 1, 2 columns. That means it's a 6 rows, 2 columns. You can immediately tell you, okay. Then you write data in the square bracket, you write 0. That means 0th number, 0th. This is a 0th. This is the 0th one. So it will show you, this 1, 2. See, this is 1, 2. This is 0th element. Rows are automatically the 0th element, this 1th element, next row, 0, 1, 2, 3, up to 0 to 5, right here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 6 elements, but it begins from 0. So basically 0 to 5 elements. So you get to see what is 0th element, what is 1th element, etc. What is -1 means the last element. That way you can extract particular kind of row or column. But this is for row. But for column, I told you the last day that inside that you have to write something and comma, quickly I'll tell you, comma something. The something before this comma is row part, and something after that is the column part. If you write colon, that means this is a technology of slicing, right? I'm sorry. So if you write colon comma 0, if you write colon comma 0, that means you want to include all the rows but 0th column, and it will show you this. So this is your X array, okay? And see, if you write also data, whatever data is again the same thing. You can write, you can rename it as X. You can print X. You can see this data. Then you can write data colon comma. Here you wrote colon comma 0. Here you write colon comma 1. That means next column. Is it okay, or I'm going slowly, or something? I can speed up. Tell me, please. Okay. So write this, and now you can plot this. So this data we plotted with same thing, plt.plot x comma y, then with the symbols, then we wrote some text, then we wrote grid, we fixed x limit, we fixed y limit, we fixed x label, y label. We tried to show one arrow. So arrow is also a function. You can see everything by typing help. So arrow positions is the initial XY position, the final XY position. Length includes head. I tried to give you head, this head width, everything. So that way I decorated the plot. Okay, so this was the plot we created last time. Okay, so I quickly pass on. Okay, this is multiple plots. So suppose your x-axis is this. Then y1 axis is this, and the y2 axis is this. So we will plot x versus y1, x versus y2. And inside one plot you write x comma y1, and then with red R, then x comma y2 with green. If you run this, it will show you two plots in the same figure. If you want to plot two plots, not in the same figure, but on the two figures side by side or up down, then you can write this plot figure, say number 2 first, say for example, or number 1 first, say, then here number 2 next. So the number 1 figure will be up and number 2 figure will be down. So if you plot separately, it will show you two separate plots. Okay. Now if you 1 to lots of plots. So for that, I created a for loop. For n in range 1 to 4 means it will create 1, 2, 3, 3 plots together. And X range is fixed. And inside the plot, I can write. That means, I wanted to tell you, when you are writing this, you are actually writing basically a Python program, knowingly or unknowingly, because all these Python machineries you are using. So that Matplotlib is so useful. If you come from outside without knowing Python, you can also use Matplotlib for plotting purpose only. Perhaps you should have to know certain little things of manipulating data and the arrays and lists and something. Otherwise, if you are a programmer, reasonable programmer, you know, you write a good program, and inside that you include everything: your programming module, your plotting module, everything. Okay. So this is, suppose you create X, and there is a for loop, and inside that you write plt.plot. Okay. And you write these. These are the Greek symbols I used. New, nu, /nu, and you have to write inside two dollar symbols. And since this is a string, you have to put 2 inverted commas this side and that side. And also you have to write a little r, small r. That means it's a raw string. You may write this as blindly, but more you go through this, more you get to know that these things, what are the meanings of those things, and etc. etc. So this is inside that legend. You write this equal to this, new equal to 1, 2, 3. You create this. See, this is a list. Inside this list, and the list you put inside this legend function. And you plot 3 plots together inside this for loop. Inside this for loop, you write this x comma np dot sign n star x. In ka value you write 1. For next plot you take n's value is 2. Next, for another third plot you take n's value is 3, and so on. And LW is line width equal to 3. Now you run this. You got 3 plots together. This is the legend, and where you write new equal to 1, equal to 2, equal to 3 with the colors. So you can you have all the things at your hand, how you manipulate and how you can decorate your graph, right? Okay. Next, quickly, subplot. Subplot means you plot some plots side by side. Okay. So quickly, I tell you, subplot is subplot. SUBPLOT. And the whole space, in the whole space, you divide into 4. You can understand now. You divide it 4 quadrants. 2 by 2. The quadrants are 2 by 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 1 position, 2 position, 3 position, 4 position. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you plot 4 functions. So this is one set of plot. This is another set of plot, and so on. So where you will place this plot, it will be on 1 position. 1 is in 2 position, and so on. So now you run this. You have these 4 plots. And now you can decorate, you can increase the figure size, you can change color, you can make this bigger, you can put this, you want to put this here, you can put this here, etc., etc. Lots of things you can actually manipulate.
Sir, একটা question করবো?
Sure.
Sir, এই প্রত্যেকটা গ্রাফে x and y variables গুলো লেখা দেখছি না। এটার কি কোনো provision আছে লেখার?
হ্যাঁ, এই বললাম তো। X, Y ভেরিয়েবল তো আমি
এটা তো প্রোগ্রামের মধ্যে করছেন, সেটটা প্রোগ্রামে করছেন, আমি গ্রাফটার তলায় বলছি। X variable and Y variable, মানে suppose X is time, Y is something, এইরকম বলছি।
No, I tell you, this won't write you for you automatically. You have to everything. It won't ad hoc. It won't write for you ad hoc.
Okay.
Everything you have to write on your own. That is the problem. That is the thing. This has one good side and also one bad side, বুঝলেন? ব্যাপারটা হলো কি, অনেক সময় আপনি হয়তো পছন্দ করেন যে আমি বারবার কেন এত কিছু লিখবো, আমি একটা লিখে দিলাম, মানে ও নিজে থেকে আমাকে লিখে দিক, মানে ভালোই তো। কিন্তু অন্যটাও হতে পারে আপনি চান না সেই জিনিসটা লেখাটা, কিন্তু মানে আপনাকে লিখে বিরক্ত করছে, এটাও তো হতে পারে। So that's why probably they have decided that it is up to you. আমি এমটি গ্লাস দিয়ে দিলাম ভাই তোমাকে, তুমি জলের বোতল দিলাম, এমটি জার মানে একটা দিয়ে দিলাম, গ্লাস দিয়ে দিলাম, একটা ফুল ফিল জার দিয়ে দিলাম, এবারে হাউ মাচ ইউ উইল ফিল, ইট ইস আপ টু ইউ, আই ওয়ন্ট গিভ ইউ। So it is like that. So this is the philosophy basically. So see, I mean, it has not done anything extra. Only thing is that I have not told it that you plot with this blue line, but by default it plots with blue line. But I have not told you that you have to make this thick line, but it has chosen this is the basic thickness. I have not told it that you have to write x axis, y axis, anything. It has not done. It will do only when previously what I wanted to do. Suppose the legends here it has written. Only when I have written legend here, then only it has written. Okay. Is it okay? আমি বোঝাতে পারলাম কি?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, ঠিক আছে। Okay, thank you sir.
Okay. So you need to see the subplots are here. Okay. Now the plot for statistics. I'm nearing the end of the previous talk, and then I will begin for today's talk. Okay. I mean, sorry, I have to repeat because I guess maybe some newcomers will be here in this today's talk. Okay. So okay. Some basic stats plot. Okay. So I created this np.arrange 10. That means it will create, it will create from 0 to 9 numbers. Okay. And I write y equal to x square. That means whatever the numbers I have created, 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9. So the y will be the array of squares of those numbers. Okay. And see, here is a function called error bar. So error bar is, of course, just to demonstrate you, error bar means x and y plot, but you can also write this with this keyword argument x err. That means x error. That means you have done you have actually sampled some data, or you have done some experiment and you collected xy data, but you are not sure the data may be normally distributed, data may be Poisson distributed, whatever. But then you wanted to calculate what are the typical errors of this data. For each measurement, you may have taken, say, hundreds. For each data, you may have taken 100 measurements. Then you calculate statistical error. That means you create the standard deviation of those data, of the values. And then you divide this by root over of n. N is the number of data. And the standard deviation by root over of n, that is actually the statistical error they call. Okay. So this is for the x data. Similarly, for the y data, you have y error, y err. And just for the sake of demonstration, I just arbitrarily chosen it. And also C for color. You may not have to write. You could write only R for red. And if you do that, run that. So you have now the graph where this data, for example, this to this is the x error, and this to this is the y error, right? So this is the error. So you can also give, for each measurement, the error must not be always the same. But here I have given the fixed error. So then you have to give here a list of errors, right? So you remember the philosophy of Python. Wherever you, whatever you do for one thing, you do for everything, right? So if I have error for this point, this point, this point, this point, all the points are different x errors. So that means I have not the single value for the x error. I have errors for different errors for all the points. So what you have to do that, you have to collect the number of the errors, put it in a square bracket, and you write here as a list. So it will automatically step by step, one by one corresponding, it will put. Okay. So that is how you create. If you want to see what is there inside error bar you have taken from PLT. PLT is your pyplot, that's module. So inside that error bar function is there. So if you want to see again, you can take the help. PLT.errorbar you have to write. So you do it today. I'll show you, send you this. If you just, I mean, the basic idea is, I don't know. I don't think that only listening will help. But the best thing is that you open your computer and whatever the manual or everything is there, examples, demonstration is there. You just type on your interpreter. Then that way we learn quicker, I think. I actually do that anyway, but for a online talk, it's not always possible, I know. Okay, so now I created another set of data. This time I used this random function, a random module. So NP is the NumPy, right? NumPy package. Under that, random is a module, and this under this module, uniform is a uniform random number generator. That means it will create the numbers whose probability distributions will be uniform, like Ludo Chokka. You dice, you throw it. The probability of getting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are same. The same. The 1 by 6. The probability is 1 by 6. You toss a coin. The probability of getting head or tail is equal, half. So that way you create a random number between 0 to 1, say 0.2, 0.5, 0.39, whatever. So, and the for occurring of each number, occurrence of each number, the probability is uniform, whatever it is. Okay, and you create 1,000 numbers. Okay, so I created C random numbers. That is for demonstration. If you don't need random number, you don't use that random number. But it's better to know these all things are there. Okay, and now you use another function, hist. Hist is, the name suggests that it is histogram. So it is making histogram. So the X data is enough. It will automatically calculate. See, it is so clever. You have created only the numbers. You have given the computer 1,000 numbers. And otherwise, what you have to do, you have to write on a spreadsheet, or you have to check through some programs that how many numbers are between this to this, how many numbers are between 0.1 to 0.2, 0.2 to 0.3, 0.3 to 0.4, and so on. That way, we in statistics, right? In statistics and whatever, whoever uses basic statistics, we create the we create the frequencies, right? So then frequencies are the height of the birds, right? So, and the in the continuous form, that becomes a nice distribution. But anyway, so here you don't have to say, you just say the X array, it will create. But you see the how many bins you want. You want a bins equal to 50. That means you wanted 50 bars, 50 bins, and the color is G, green. Just that. You can also type here help. Inside that you write plt.hist. It will actually tell you what is there inside. Lots of all the documents are there. So the Python is so fantastic that you are using on your machine, and your help is always at your hand. And even if you do not understand this, sometimes some things are written in a certain jargonish way that it is not easy to understand some way, because it's written by computer scientists. So your Google is there, of course. You can go to Google and search and find out something, give some key catchwords. It will tell you. Anyway, so if you do that, so it will create a histogram where the bin numbers are 50. Okay, let's see this. Let's see this. So it has created 50 bins. If we now check, so now I don't want 50 bins, I wanted only 20 bins. Okay, so it will create a histogram of 20 bins. Okay, so all kinds, the bins are so thick, and this it is actually amalgamated side by side. You can also write the bins will be separated. That also you can give. So with the keyword arguments, you can go and check in this manual where how you can design your histogram, right? Bin size, separation between bins, etc., etc. All these things I'm not going into detail. I'm just showing you the gallery where it is there. Just quick some demonstration. Okay. Suppose here. Okay, here I have done. I did, right. So I created I wanted to create a distribution of normal distribution. See, in your here, NumPy, inside that random module, inside that you have normal generator, normal distribution. Here you had uniform distribution. Here you have normal distribution. I know for geographers, this normal distribution is a very popular one, because whatever you measure in your field, for everything natural things comes naturally is normal distribution, not because it comes normally. Your see height distribution of human being, age distributions, population, some income income distribution is unfortunately not normal. It is very skewed anyway. So other kinds of lots of distributions, IQ distributions, and also you see lots of distributions that naturally occur. They are actually normal. In physics, we call it Gaussian distribution. Okay, so this normal distribution, and you know normal distribution is designed by two parameters only. Mu, you imagine the mu is the Greek mu symbol, right? I don't know, there's no, I don't know how to use Blackboard. Anyway, so I'll check. So where I was here. Okay. So mu is the basically the population mean. Mu is a population mean, and sigma means, you know, the standard deviation. So if you can tell that I have given you mu and sigma, and then that's it. The distribution is defined. It will create the distribution, and you want it a distribution of 10,000 points. So it will get 10,000 random numbers whose distribution is normal distribution, or bell-shaped distribution, or Gaussian distribution. So I tell it mu equal to 1, sigma equal to 5, and I dictated that bins equal to 10. I wanted only 10 bins. And see now inside this plt.hist, you see you get this, give this x. This is essential. This x is called by default argument. Then I give bins equal to, I could write bins equal to something, but I have already told you the bins equal to 10. So it will take 10. Then color equal to M. I wanted magenta color, M for magenta. Normed means this is another argument I used that day. Normed is normalized. The distribution will be normalized. That means the peak will be between 0 and 1, right? So normed equal to 1. R width is 0.8, width of the bars. His type is a bar type, and so on. There are various other types or bars will be there. Okay, so this is the common thing. So you run it, ignore this, and it will show the data, and you have got this. So this is a normal distribution. You take more and more and more data, the distribution will be more and more like a beautiful symmetric normal curve. But here we took only 10,000 data, and the plots are such that we fix the width, and the bins we have taken only 10. So that's why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here also one is there. So with only 10 bars. So see the numbers coming between 0 and 5, 0 and 4, something, that's the maximum. So the most probable value here. So this way we can plot and see. Okay. So here also you can see with another function rand_n. I wanted to show something else. Rand_n means random. Rand is another distribution which creates probably between numbers between, I think, from -1 to +1 or something. I have to go and check what this rand_n function does. Probably it creates random numbers between -1 to +1, whatever. See, this is okay. So, and I created 1,000 numbers and such 3 numbers, 1,000 by 3. So this is one set of 1,000 numbers. This is another set of 1,000 numbers, another set of 1,000 numbers, probably that. So I wanted to plot that. So this is your X, and the data is here. And the 3 data I will plot together, 3 sets of data I will plot together. So color I chose blue, red, and green. Okay, and now write X, and the bins have already I declared bins equal to 30. I wanted to plot with 30 bins. Okay, and the label is colors, these colors. It will come here. I could put here directly. Stacked. So stacked is a special kind of attribute. Is I can say inside the this hist function. Stacked is another keyword with which we can actually stack the graph in such a way you will see that the way we stack one by one on the top of the other. So this is stacked is, I write capital TRUE. See this is the Boolean command. And this is the Python command. This is a Boolean expression. TRUE. True means true. And there is another is false. Capital FALC. If we don't want stacked, we could write stacked equal to false. Or by default, it is not stacked. If I write stacked equal to true, the graphs will be stacked. And the graphs will be normalized, normal equal to 1. And also there is another thing, fancy thing, edge color. That means the graph I will plot, it will plot its edge also. Why? You will understand this. I plot it with black. So I now run. See, it unnecessary shows the data. This you can put this off also in this Anaconda, but I will tell you later. I did not put this off. So see, this is the 3 sets of data. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the random means I forgot. Random means random normal distribution automatically. It's a normal distribution between n for normal. It's another function with which you create normal distribution, random normal numbers between -1 to +1 probably. Not that also. Okay, I'll check. I'll have to check what is that. Okay, it is showing something -3 to +3. I have to actually check what it does. Probably, well, you can also check. Anyway, so see the graphs are stacked. This is one graph. This is one graph. This is another graph. And you see the outlines means these outlines. These are outlines. The steps. And the vertical lines and the horizontal lines, right? These are the outlines, and the outlines are black. If you don't show these outlines black, if you do not show this, suppose you forget this. If you forget this, it may not be that nice. It may not be that nice, right? So it is up to you how you design it. Okay. So what I wrote H. What we wrote? H. What did I wrote? H. I myself forget. H color, or I think H color I write. I can check it. Yeah. H color equal to black. I think I wrote. Okay. Anyway, well, this is this is something. This created some Y and X data and wanted to plot these bars. So there is, I wanted to just show you, there's another function called VAR bar. Okay, so that's what I told you. And these, okay, now I can tell you I showed you, but I won't now go through this, because I will go through this again tomorrow after I introduce you formally pandas. Pandas is a package which will be useful for you. Like anything, like when you want to create, want to handle big data. Okay, so the last part is this pie diagram. So I skip this part for today and this pie diagram. So for the pie diagram, you have to give the elements with which you have to this area size 60%, 15%, 20%, 3%, 2%. So this is I gave as a list. So total is 100%. You have to check. Total is 100%. And you 100% you will divide inside the 360 degree. And the levels also I wrote rice, wheat, cotton, sugar, jute. And this is a fancy thing. If you do not first give this, and this the function is PIE pi. For pie diagram, this function is pi. Inside that you write sizes. This sizes. This is the essential or default argument. You have to write labels the same way. The labels, all these labels you give, and these explode. I just delete. Okay, let me first these things. I just show you first. I just show you first. Forget explode. Forget explode. Also, you write here shadow. It's not necessary. This is a basic thing. You write sizes and levels. If you run this, of course, it will show you the pie diagram. Okay. So now you now write here the explode. That means the fancy thing. One piece you wanted to take out. It's like a piece of cake. And so you write explode, and explode is this. You give the 0 explode for the first, 0 explode for the second, 0.2 explode for the third, and 0, 0. Okay. And also you want to cast shadow under that. So if you write that, you run, and this thing looks, there's a little shadow here, something. You can increase the shadow also, and this part is exploded. So this is the thing we just showed on the previous day. So I can take a break of few seconds, and meanwhile you can talk. You can tell me if anything question. Then I'll now proceed for contour plot and other things. Please tell me. You have any question or anything? Please tell me. Please. If you have anything to tell, or if you're not bored, I can then proceed. Okay.
Any question?
Any question, or you want to, or you want to take a break? Otonu, just take. If you want a tea break or something.
Okay, sir. 10 minutes break.
Then we can give a 10 minutes tea break, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. That is better. That is better.
Okay.
10 minutes break.
10 minutes break.
10 minutes break. Okay.